Thank you for your participation to India-Japan Healthcare Partnership today. 本日は日印ヘルスケアパートナーシップにご参加いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。First, I would like to request His Excellency Mr. Shibi George, Ambassador of India to Japan, to make inaugural remarks. はじめに駐日インド大使シビ・ジョージ閣下より開会ご挨拶を申し上げます。
Your Excellency, Mr. Nozomi Tomita, Senior Assistant Minister for International Affairs, Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, Government of Japan. Your Excellency, Mr. Arunish Chawla, Secretary, Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India. Mr. Matsuho Miyahara, Counselor, Cabinet Secretariat, Government of Japan. Dr. Krishna Eda, Executive Chairman, Bharat Biotech International Limited. Mr. Ravi Udaya Bhaskar, Director General, Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council. Mr. Dai Kawada, Group Manager, Meritech Corporation Department, Meiji Seika Pharma. Distinguished participants, a very good afternoon to all. I am delighted to be part of this seminar on India-Japan Healthcare Partnership being organized today at the Embassy, focusing on fostering cooperation in the healthcare sector between India and Japan. Healthcare is a fundamental aspect of human development, and both India and Japan share a commitment to ensuring the well-being of their citizens. The intercession of two nations in the field of healthcare represents a tremendous opportunity for collaboration, innovation, and betterment of lives. Dear friends, India believes in value-based healthcare and is continuously striving to provide high-quality and cost-effective healthcare to everyone. India has been making significant progress in healthcare infrastructure, research, and accessibility. The country has witnessed transformative changes in recent years with the introduction of initiatives like Ayushman Bharat, aimed at providing comprehensive healthcare coverage and improving health outcomes for millions. With the vision of One Earth, One Health, and to serve the global community, Government of India last year introduced initiatives such as Heal in India and Heal by India. In the video which we have just shown, we have seen how importance was attached to healthcare during the G20 summit, including for the Global South. Dear friends, India is recognized as the pharmacy of the world. Currently valued at $50 billion US, India's pharmaceutical sector is currently the third largest in the world in terms of volume, being exported to more than 200 countries, and industry can potentially grow to US dollars 120 to 130 billion over the next 7 years. India is one of the top producers in generic medicines. 9 out of 25 global generic companies are from India and provide generic medicines to more than 200 countries. India gives generic medicines. This is an important area where India and Japan can collaborate. During the COVID-19 pandemic, India became home to the largest and vaccination drive in the world and also shipped millions of doses of COVID-19 vaccines to over 100 countries, which shows India's capability and commitment. We have joined virtually by the Executive Chairman of Bharat Biotech International Limited today, who will also be sharing his experience about India's strengths in vaccination and its successful COVID-19 vaccination campaign. Dear friends, Japan has a healthcare system that is globally recognized for its efficiency and effectiveness. The Japanese model places a strong emphasis on preventive healthcare, advanced medical research, and the integration of technology to enhance patient care. The exchange of knowledge and best practices is crucial. India can benefit from Japan's experience in preventive healthcare and advanced medical technologies. Telemedicine and digital health are areas where both countries can make significant strides. The integration of technology in healthcare delivery can enhance accessibility, especially in remote areas, and improve the efficiency of healthcare services. India and Japan have already been cooperating in the field of healthcare and wellness under the MOU MOC signed between the two countries in 2018, focusing on including on human resource development, universal health coverage, healthcare system governance and management, pharmaceuticals and medical devices, health research, disease surveillance, traditional medicines, etc. There are many healthcare systems across the world which benefit from talent of Indian professionals. India has the potential to supply healthcare professionals to Japan, and the two countries can work on addressing the issue of shortage of healthcare workers in Japan. Dear friends, Japanese pharmaceutical companies can also look at the manufacturing opportunities in India and exporting back to Japan and other countries. India could be a hub for Japanese companies to export to the Middle East and to Africa. Meiji Pharma, whose representative is here today for a presentation, acquired Medric Pharma in 2015, is one of the many success stories of Japanese companies in India. Dear friends, I would like to conclude by quoting what Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya, Honorable Minister of Health and Family Welfare of India, had said in his keynote address at the One Earth, One Health Advantage Healthcare India event last year. We strive to build a more inclusive and equitable world where healthcare knows no boundaries and where skilled healthcare professionals can make a difference wherever they are. Our collective efforts will be towards creating a healthcare ecosystem that embraces the voice of every nation, every citizen, and every being. I would like to once again congratulate the team for putting together this event today. I would like to convey my sincere thanks to all participants for joining us today. I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussions and partnerships emerging from this seminar today. Once again, thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. 続きまして、厚生労働省大臣官房総括審議官国際担当、富田望様よりご挨拶をいただきます。Next, I would like to request Mr. Nozomi Tomita, Senior Assistant Minister for International Affairs, Minister's Secretariat, Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, Government of Japan, to make remarks.
Good afternoon, Ambassador Civic George and all the participants of the Japan-India Health Partnership. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the Embassy of India in Japan for your efforts in organizing this meeting. Today, as disaster-related diet committee have been held since the morning, and related meetings are still being held. So Minister Takemi and other parliamentary ministers cannot attend to today's meeting. I'm sorry for this. So I will be speaking on behalf of the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare. Now, India held the G20 meeting as a presidency last year and demonstrated an excellent presidential leadership. As Japan also held the G7 meeting as a presidency, we participated in the discussions while considering the cooperation between the G7 and the G20. Both countries have handed over the presidency to the next countries, but we would like to continue to cooperate with India so that last year's discussions can be carried over appropriately and we can contribute to the further development and improvement of the health, medical, and labor fields around the world. In particular, Japan is working on bilateral cooperation with India based on the Memorandum of Understanding in the healthcare field under the Japan's Asia Health and Wellbeing Initiative. Japan has also positioned India as a partner country in global health strategy of Japan. Last year, after the G7 health ministers meeting in Nagasaki, western part of Japan, the second Japan-India Joint Committee on Healthcare was held, and relevant ministries and agencies led by Ministers Takaichi and Minister Mandaviya attended and held dialogue. In addition to confirming the progress of concrete cooperation between the two countries in the healthcare field, we also discussed future initiatives in the healthcare field, such as emergency medicine, non-communicable diseases, supply chains, emergency drugs, health system, digital health, and medical tourism. Here, I would like to discuss some examples regarding cooperation between the two countries. First, there has been exchanges in the medical field, including personal exchanges. Regarding nursing care personnel, which is in short supply in Japan, more than 500 people from India have passed the exam under the specified skilled worker system, and Japan is expected to accept more people. In addition, our ministry is also working to support the training of medical professionals in other countries by utilizing Japan's medical technology. For example, with the cooperation of medical institutions in India and Japan, we are developing medical treatment and prescription systems to promote high-quality prosthetics. Furthermore, regarding emergency medicine, I have heard that the Japanese Society of Emergency Medicine and the Japanese Association for Surgery of Trauma are preparing to restart a project related to personal exchange in the field of trauma surgery with the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. I would appreciate it if both governments could support cooperation related exchanges between public and private medical institutions, including such efforts. In the international community, Japan is working towards the global realization of universal health coverage that will contribute to both peacetime and emergencies, based on the idea of human security. Various cooperation with India will contribute to efforts towards achieving this goal, and Japan intends to continue working on cooperation with India in the healthcare field under the Asia Health and Wellbeing Initiative. I hope that today's meeting will accelerate cooperation between Japan and India in the healthcare field. Thank you for attention.
富田審議官、ありがとうございました。Next, I would like to request Mr. Arunishu Chawla, Secretary, Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India to make remarks by online. 続きまして、インド化学肥料省医薬品部事務次官、アルニシュ・チャウラ様よりオンラインでご挨拶いただきます。スクリーンをご覧くださいませ。
Ambassador of India to Japan, Mr. Nozomi Tomita, our friend and colleague from the Ministry of Health, Labour and Welfare, Government of Japan, Mr. Mitsuyo Miyahara from the Cabinet Secretariat, Government of Japan. Greetings from New Delhi. I'm very happy to join all of you for this event. As you all know, India and Japan are proud partners in almost every sector of the economy. And in particular, in the healthcare and meditech pharmaceuticals sector, we have a very fast growing relationship. And in both in terms of bilateral trade and investment, and I would say the relationship has come of age, and both trade and investment are now truly bilateral. India and Japan have been trading in both pharmaceuticals and medical devices, and the trade has already touched $750 million a year, and is expected to cross the 1 billion mark in 2 to 3 years ahead. Japan has invested nearly 40 billion in the Indian pharma and meditech sector. Major Japanese companies which are invested and operating in India include Takeda Pharmaceuticals, Steelers Pharma, Daiichi Sankyo, Otsuka Pharmaceuticals, Eisai Pharmaceuticals, Shimadzu, and in medical devices, Shimadzu Medical, Terumo, India, Nypro, Omron, and these are all big names in the Indian market. They are happily invested here and they manufacture high-tech products which the patients and the Indian citizens benefit from. Similarly, several Indian companies are invested in Japan. This includes leading names like Sun Pharmaceuticals, Dr. Reddy Laboratories, Lupin Pharmaceuticals, Aurobindo Japan, and this is a fast-growing relationship. India, as you know, is now called the pharmacy of the world. And India now has the highest number of US FDA approved plants anywhere outside the United States. And India is the largest generic manufacturer and supplier in the entire world. My friends, the future is good as we deepen our relationship in terms of the value chains. We increase the strategic depth of both trade and investment along these value chains. And from drugs and pharmaceuticals, we are increasing cooperation in the area of bulk drugs and drug intermediates. We have launched a new production-linked incentive scheme, and some Japanese companies are taking advantage of this initiative, particularly in the pharma, meditech, and medical devices sector. I would urge the Japanese government to assure its companies that India provides policy certainty in this regard. India has all the bilateral comprehensive economic partnership, and we assure you to give the best policy support and best incentives to truly make India comfortable for Japanese companies and to expand bilateral trade and investment. And thank you very much for joining this event. And thank you for all the cooperation that you have extended in the past. We hope to extend a very positive support and cooperation from our side going forward into the future. Thank you very much.
続きまして、内閣府健康医療戦略推進事務局参事官、宮原光穂様よりご挨拶をいただきます。Next, I would like to request Mr. Mitsuho Miyahara, Counselor, Cabinet Secretariat, Government of Japan, to make remarks.
His Excellency Ambassador George, distinguished speakers and guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are very grateful that Embassy of India holds this seminar on India-Japan healthcare partnership and give us this opportunity to have remarks. I'm Mitsuho Miyahara, a Counselor of Cabinet Secretary of Japan. I'm participating in this event on behalf of Mr. Ito, Ambassador for Global Health of Japan. India and Japan have strengthened cooperative relationships over the past few years. Tomita-san talked about our cooperation between two countries earlier, but I would also like to stress the same thing. India and Japan have signed a memorandum of cooperation in the healthcare sector in 2018 to collaborate between India's initiatives such as Ayushman Bharat program and Japan's Asia Health and Well-being Initiative. In addition to that, under Japan's global health strategy formulated in 2022, we'd like to cooperate with India as a partnership country. In this connection, we had the second joint committee meeting on the healthcare between India and Japan in Tokyo last May. Minister Mandavia from India and the Minister Takaichi from Japan led the meeting and discussed mutual cooperation. We acknowledge examples of mutual beneficial cooperation under the current MOC on the topics like 7 major issues. Also, and we confirmed that both sides will continue to cooperate each other. Alongside the ministerial meeting, Minister Mandevia held dialogue with representatives of Japanese pharmaceutical and medical devices companies. I think that it was a good opportunity that Japanese companies could share directly their interests and concerns about business with India. Last year was also a remarkable year that Japan and India led the international dialogue on global health as the president of G7 and G20. I would like to talk about one of the achievements of G7, that is impact investment. Impact investment aims to achieve positive social impact alongside the financial return, which is expected to be an innovative finance to mobilize private capital, private investment in global health. In recent years, financial burden has been increasing in global health, especially in low and middle income countries. Mobilization of private capital is one of the main challenges in global health. At the G7 Hiroshima Summit, the leaders endorsed the initiative called Impact Investment Initiative for Global Health, namely III, to encourage impact investment in global health. At the timing of UN high-level meeting in last September, III was also launched, attracting attention from within and outside of Japan. Outside Japan. Currently, the number of participating institutions of III has increased to 55 and is expected to expand in the future. Some private funds from India participate in this initiative. Also, India can be one of the most fertile and hopeful environment for impact investors to seek opportunities. We think that this initiative can help enhance primary health care, including maternal and child health care, equitable access to medical countermeasures for needy and disadvantaged people, and contribute to restoration of essential health services to better than pre-pandemic levels, with the goal of achieving universal health coverage. We hope that continuing these efforts will further develop business between India and Japan in the health sector. We'll continue our government-to-government dialogue for this purpose. Also, we hope further collaboration in both private sectors and public sectors between India and Japan. Thank you for attention.
Miyahara様、ありがとうございました。Next, I would like to request Dr. Krishna Ella, Executive Chairman, Bharat Biotech International Limited, to make a presentation. 続きまして、パーラトバイオテックインターナショナル取締役会長クリシュナ・エラ博士よりオンラインでご講演いただきます。スクリーンをご覧くださいませ。
You see the slides, sir? You cannot see, sorry. Can you see, sir? So His Excellency and all the guests who are there, who are out of the country, and thank you very much for giving this opportunity. And I think India is one of the leading players in vaccines. And I think this is one field India takes a leadership role. We have 21 Indian manufacturers, 1 billion doses we supply to the National Immunization Program, and 60% of the global demand of vaccine supplied by Indian manufacturers. That is number one. 2 out of 3 child is vaccinated with Indian vaccines. Private trade is not doing great, but still we do very well, the private segment. And India provided 240 million doses of pandemic vaccine to more than 100 countries, where His Excellency Ambassador just now mentioned. And I think my generation we are a new generation entrepreneurs in the country. So there are many public sectors were there, but we as scientists entered as a new startup in the country. So my point here, how we develop a product, how we do clinical research, which is very important in the clinical trial, in the vaccine development. And new ideas, how do you get the pandemic? And we made a good COVID success story. I'm going to touch upon what makes us different from other manufacturers globally. As scientists hypothesis on the next pandemic, and the next pandemic really is going to be one of them are multi-drug resistance, and future problem is going to be a big one. And I think we don't compete with the multinational. We don't want to compete with Japan. Our infectious disease are competitors. And you look at why neglected diseases are very important. Our focus was neglected diseases. You look at most of the neglected disease in Asia and Africa. And the majority of the neglected diseases are in the Chinese and then Africa, which the neglected disease turns into pandemic. That's one thing to be noted down. And we still have 40,000 unknown viruses, 10,000 zoonotic virus, which makes us one world health is an important aspect of the future. And there are two different strategies, UNICEF market driven, and other one is innovation driven. We choose an innovation model as a startup. So that gives you an idea how a new way of thinking is happening in the country. And India's first new vaccine under Indo-US bilateral program, we made a rotavirus vaccine. We did one of the first efficacy trial in the developing world. Even other countries have not done an efficacy trial for a new generation vaccines. We've done 10,000 newborn infant clinical trial and published in international journals. We follow same quality like the multinationals, same quality, but we sell $1 a dose vaccine. Thanks to Gates Foundation, thanks to Government of India funding the project in the clinical trial program. We sold 400 million doses in more than 120 countries in the Africa and Asia, Latin American countries. So please remember, if you sell $1, doesn't mean it is a cheap vaccine. The same pharmacopoeia standard, what GSK and Merck follows, we follow the same pharmacopoeia standards. And I think Honorable Prime Minister launched our vaccine. My grandson was the first one to take the vaccine. And the next public health problem, multi-drug resistant disease, because this is a new topic which I'm throwing first time to the community. And one of the major problems, the typhoid is a major problem, and mostly, including Japan, is also a problem for the typhoid because of moving of the travelers in different countries. And we made a typhoid conjugate vaccine. We did human challenge studies in Oxford, UK. The reason I'm telling this, how Indian startup is going into globally do clinical research in other part of the world to test the new hypothesis. And thanks to Gates Foundation, we gave $20 million grant to the Oxford, and we did the first vaccine in the world to made it. And we got WHO approved, and we supplied to various countries. And how we did the effectiveness, does it work on multi-drug resistant strain and other strains? So we did various part of the world a clinical trial. Again, thanks to Gates Foundation, they gave $36 million. We did with a partnership with public-private partnership in various countries. And these slides will be available to everybody. And it's also the new hypothesis we laid into the country was whether vaccine can protect antimicrobial resistance. This is a hypothesis. Nobody has tested in the world. And we were the first one to test in Pakistan. We supplied 200,000 doses to Pakistan, Aga Khan University. We did the testing, and it proved that any multi-drug resistant strain, XDR, extremely drug resistant strain, was protected with the vaccine in Karachi, in Pakistan. And this is the first time we've shown a vaccine can protect against multi-drug resistant strain. And another one, non-typhoid salmonella problem, new problem, Asia and Africa is a major problem. And that comes from the poultry, a poultry disease, poultry sitting in the backside of the house, spreading the poultry salmonella to the human. So we took that as a challenge for the Africa problem. And we partnered with Wellcome Trust, University of Maryland. We got a $4 million grant, and we completed phase 1 in Baltimore in Maryland. We did a first company, Indian company, to do clinical trial in US for a new vaccine. We did that, now it's taking up very thick. We are also working with the cholera vaccine with the Hillman Lab and Merck Lab. We are working with the GSK on malaria vaccine. Now the malaria vaccine is going to be shut down in Belgium. They're transferring entire technology to us, already transferred, and now we are building that malaria vaccine program for African point of view. And so we're also working on the live attenuated tuberculosis vaccine because our Honorable Prime Minister said we want to make a tuberculosis-free India by 2025. So in that rationale, we are working with the new generation live attenuated tuberculosis vaccine, which is also an important aspect that multi-drug resistant is also a problem in tuberculosis. So we are the only company in the developing world done extensive clinical research in various parts of the world. So that means a startup company doing a clinical trial in various parts from US to UK to Africa to Latin American and Asia is not an easy task, but we did the clinical trial. That's an important aspect for innovation aspect of it. And we are strong in IPR protection. And COVID vaccine is very simple. Because of the knowledge we have, we took that co-vaccine as a strategy for COVID vaccine control. And I want to make a humbly state that we never got any government funding. And when government was willing to give money, we said as a company that we want to give back to the society and help the community. When community is suffering, we want help. We put our personal money, $100 million, into product development and clinical trial. And we are the only one in the world having BSL-3 production facility. Wuhan lab is a BSL-4 laboratory. Various parts of the world, BSL-3 labs are available, but not the production facility. We are the first one to create a BSL-3 production facility. And we licensed from NIH one of the small molecule because we want to make COVID vaccine more T-cell response. That's very important. So this is truly a T-cell response vaccine in the world. And we have shown first time that T-cell response is more important than the B-cell response, whereas other vaccines produce more B-cell response. And produce that, and we made various clinical trials. Equia is one of the multinational involved in our clinical research, and we have done phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, published in international journal. And we also shown that various variant also protected with the co-vaccine. Because the adjuvant that we use, giving a broad outline of T-cell response, the T-cell response protecting other variant. This is what uniqueness of us, our vaccine, that we differentiated from all other vaccine manufacturers in the world. And this is the second largest clinical trial efficacy in the world. And after the US, after Pfizer, Moderna, we are the second company, third company in the world to do the largest clinical trial, efficacy trial. We have 27 publications on co-vaccine, including Lancet and Nature Medicine. We also made with the Washington University partnership, we made a nasal vaccine, and this is the first global nasal vaccine platform approved. So if any pandemic comes in the future, we can deliver as a drop in the nostril, and just 4 drops, you give it nasal, you're done with the vaccination. And it is important for the respiratory pathogen that nasal is important strategy. And this is the first nasal vaccine in the world. And we're also working with CEPI and University of Sydney on how to make a universal COVID vaccine. And how do you take a neglected disease problem? Like, for example, chikungunya in 2006 came to India, and we were the first one to isolate the virus, sequence the genome, and made a patent, first patent. Now it's CEPI funded. We are doing a clinical trial in Philippines, Thailand, Colombia, and Guatemala. And 4 countries, we're doing an efficacy trial for phase 3 trial right now. And based on chikungunya sequence, it came to India from Madagascar, from Madagascar. As a scientist, what do I ask question? Next time from Madagascar to India, what can come? That was a question. So we found Zika virus was one of the problem might come. And we were the first one to file a global patent in the world. And even CDC was not aware of the Zika virus. We were the first one, and we gave a lot of information to CDC and also to World WHO. And we were the first one. And then after 6 months, the Brazil incident came in 2015. And next pandemic, is it possible in animal? That is our hypothesis. Just a foot and mouth disease outbreak in 2001 in UK, 6 million cows has been culled and burnt. Just see the massacre. It's almost billions of pounds lost by the UK government. I think if I remember, 20 billion pounds was lost by the UK government. So we created for the One World Health concept. we created second BSL-3 plus AG. That means BSL-4 production facility. There's only two facilities in the world. One is in Fulbright in UK and second facility in Bangalore, right in Bangalore. We have two underground floors below the production floor, which can earthquake proof and the BSL-4 containment production facility. So this is one thing where we can help the Japan. We are probably the world's largest containment facilities in the world is right located in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Ankleshwar. So these are the facilities. BSL-3 plus AGB is almost like a BSL-4 and production facility. And we have QC lab, everything which we can help to the Japan. Any manufacturers want to use our facility with the help of our Indian government, through our Indian embassy, we can help the Japanese industries. Thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you.
Next, I would like to request Mr. Ravi Utia Pascal, Director General, Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council, to make a presentation online. Please see the screen.
Thank you very much. His Excellency Mr. C.B. George, Ambassador of India to Japan, Mr. Nozomi Tomita, Senior Assistant Minister for International Affairs, Government of Japan, Secretary DOP, and Mr. Mitsuho Miyahara, Counselor Cabinet Secretary, Government of Japan, Dr. Krishna Illa, Executive Chairman, Bharat Biotech. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and good evening. I'm very much thankful to Embassy of India for giving PharmExcel an opportunity to be part of this India-Japan healthcare partnership. Everyone knows that pharmaceuticals plays a very important role in the healthcare system. The Secretary DOP and His Excellency and Mr. Krishna Illa has rightly mentioned about India's contribution and Indian capabilities in the area of pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and vaccines. So I don't think I need to repeat all those things. Just I would like to say one thing that, we are exporting 60% to highly regulated markets out of 25.3 billion US dollars exported in the last financial year. We are providing drugs to more than 200 countries, and we have highest number of US FDA approved sites as well as the EU GMP compliant units. And Krishna Illa has mentioned about WHO's vaccine requirements are sourced from India. We are very proud that India has developed indigenous COVID vaccine by Bharat Biotech. And all these years, entire world is talking about India as a generic player, but we proved the world wrong by inventing this COVID vaccine within the shortest possible time. Next, please. So if you see the Indian exports in the pharmaceuticals, in financial year the 14, it is 14.93 billion US dollars, and now we reached to 25.39 billion dollars. India's pharma exports, product-wise exports, we're largely exporting formulations and as well as the bulk drugs. And if you see the exports during the financial year 20 to 23, April, December, we exported 18.853 billion. And this financial year, we already crossed 20 billion with 8.9% growth rate. The entire manufacturing sector is not doing well, but the pharmaceuticals industry is doing very well. This includes vaccines also. So the last financial year, we recorded only 3.25% growth. This year, we already recorded more than 8% growth rate. Here I would like to mention one thing that we fixed an ambitious target of 55 billion US dollars exports by 2030, And I'm expecting that, I'm very optimistic that we can able to achieve the target in the days to in the days to come. So our Northeast Asia is very important destination for Indian pharmaceuticals as well as vaccines and other allied products. Japan, actually, we are closely working with India-Japan working group and the CDSCO in collaboration with PMDA is organizing the India-Japan Medical Devices and Pharmaceutical Symposium. We are regularly participating from the first edition, and we are active supporter of this engagement. We exported 247.5 million US dollars worth of drugs to Japan in the last financial year, and we are also importing the formulations and innovative the formulas from Japan. We imported 132.98 million in the last year. Everyone knows that Japan is one of the largest pharmaceutical markets after US and China. So exports to Japan is also growing in this financial year. It's almost, we have already exported 94.5 million US dollars. Japan is the patented medicines, or they will go for innovator generics. So we are expecting that it is estimated to reach 93.8 billion in by 2023 and 128 billion USD by 2027. But the generic drugs sale is very less when compared to the Japanese pharmaceutical market, and estimated to reach 10 million USD by 2027. Next, please. The Ministry of Health, Labor have an ambitious plan to introduce more generics in the Japanese market. The Cabinet of Japan stated that generics would be required to represent at least 80%. Now it is very less. I think this is the place where India and Japan can work very closely in developing the generic market. Generic drugs will not only reduce the cost and the Japanese population, growing population, senior citizens, and particularly the diseases are also going up. So these generics will drastically reduce the healthcare expenses. And the areas where India can, the Secretary DOP has mentioned about product linked incentive scheme, and particularly for the active pharmaceutical ingredients. This is the place where Japan and India can work very closely, particularly in the complex chemical reaction expertise and chiral reactions. And these are the areas where Japan and India can work together. DOP Secretary has also mentioned about the presence of Japanese companies in India. And the Indian regulatory mechanism is also upgrading their good manufacturing practices, and the government is also very proactive in upgrading the facilities. I think this is the place where we can work together. The pharmaceutical sector is identified as a third sector by both the nations. Japan can collaborate with India and look at contract manufacturing opportunities, preferably in the beginning US FDA, EU approved units within India, and export back to Japan. That is going to reduce the costing. Wherever if the same drug is manufactured in other than India, we need to spend more than 30% if it is in Europe or US or in Japan. So that we can reduce the manufacturing cost if the manufacturer in world-class facilities of Indian pharmaceuticals and vaccines. And we need to have a particularly in the area of biosimilars. Biosimilars and biologicals are going to be the game changers in the days to come. So Indian companies are very seriously working on that, and the Indian regulator CDSCO has approved 98 biosimilars. That is the highest in this region, and our focus area is also the biosimilars, biologics, as well as metered doses and vaccines. We are actively engaged with, I have already mentioned that, with the India-Japan Medical Products Regulator Symposium from first edition, and CDSCO and PMDA is closely working, and I'm very much thankful to CDSCO and PMDA for giving Pharmaxil an opportunity to be part of this symposium. I think the MOU between CDSCO and the Minister of Health, Labour, Welfare of Japan on medical products should be strengthened further, and we need to address the issues of concern of both the countries to have a better bilateral cooperation and the way forward. And Pharmaxil is proposing to participate in Interfax Week 24 scheduled from June 26th to 26th. We would like to have meetings with Japanese generic drug manufacturers as well as the regulators. I'm once again thankful to His Excellency Mr. C.B. George and the Embassy of India and the government officials from Japan to give us an opportunity to be part of this. Thank you very much.
続きまして、メドライクリミテッド、メドライクオペレーション部グループマネージャー川田大様よりご講演いただきます。Next, I would like to request Mr. Dai Kawada, Group Manager, Medrec Operation Department, Medrec Limited, to make a presentation.
Okay, so thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak today. My name is Dai Kawada from Meiji Seika Pharma, Japan. My supervisors are staying in Bangalore in this week, so instead of them, let me make a presentation today. So we Meiji Seika Pharma acquired Medrec Limited India in 2015. Main Medrec business is contract manufacturing of pharmaceuticals, supplying products to Japan, as well as Europe, Australia, Asia, and Africa territory. Today, I would like to give you an overview of Medrec business. Next, please. So, as you can see, the Medrec business is operated through collaboration between our company in Japan side and also the local team in India. Next, please. Okay, next, please. The Meiji Group in Japan consists of a food company and pharmaceutical company. The food company mainly produces confectionery such as chocolate or dairy products and nutritions. And the pharmaceutical company produces new drugs such as antibiotics or generic drugs and vaccines such as flu or COVID-19 as prescription drugs. Next, please. Okay, next, please. The Medrec Group in India is centered in Bangalore. This slide shows the head office or R&D center, and 6 production plants are located in there. And they are continuously expanding their production capacity through new investments in India. Next, please. So this table shows the overview of Medrec Group. So Medrec is a contract manufacturer of mainly generic products And it has been established for almost 50 years and joined in the Meiji Group 80 years ago. Then supplying the products widely in the UK, EU, Africa, and Asia, and also Japan. Next, please. Okay, next, please. Okay, this picture here shows Unit 7, one of our main plants. It has a production capacity of around 5 billion tablets and capsules. It also produces for Japan market from these plants. Okay, next, please. Then, in addition to this production capacity, the company also has an R&D function with over 200 researchers working on more than 60 development projects in parallel. In addition to development for the global market, products for the Japanese market have also been successfully developed and commercialized already in collaboration with Meiji and Medreich. Also, myself was also involved as a formulation researcher in this Japanese development, and we have a good relationship with local staffs. The next, please. Then this graph shows the volume of commercial products shipped from Medreich to Japan. So this slide shows only drug products for Japan market. It has now reached approximately 1.5 billion tablets in a year, which is equivalent to more than 1.5% of the Japanese generic market. You may know there are 190 generic manufacturers in Japan. So I can say the Medreich contributes significantly to the stable supply of products for the Japanese market. Of course, supplying products for the Japanese market is not so easy because in addition to a high level of scientific quality, a high level of appearance quality is also required. It is said cosmetic quality. So we continue to utilize the know-how developed in our Japanese factory, then repeatedly train our local staff and foster quality culture. So several Japanese experts stayed in Medreich to manage this quality in this moment. Okay. Next, please. Okay, this graph shows our sales and operating profit since the acquisition of Medreich. You will see that we have grown by 150% in the last 5 years. Next, please. Okay, so finally, we look forward to working together, Japan and India, continue to supply medicine globally and contribute to global health. Thank you very much.
皆様、ありがとうございました。以上をもちまして、本日のイベント、日印ヘルスケアパートナーシップを終了とさせていただきます。Now we will conclude the event on India-Japan Healthcare Partnership today. We will have a networking session with light refreshment at the foyer outside of this venue from now. We hope you will join us. Thank you very much for your participation today. この後、軽食付きのネットワーキングセッションをこの会場を出てすぐのフォイヤーで開催いたしますので、皆様ぜひご参加くださいませ。本日はご参加いただきまして誠にありがとうございました。